would not believe the drama I've had this week alone, but I'm here. My name is Rebecca Tereu, or Bex, as most people call me, and I have the privilege and honour of sharing my testimony today. To be honest, I come here today out of pure obedience, not to the lovely ladies that asked me, but to my God, whom I can no longer ignore, which I've been quite good at ignoring him lately. I've been in my bat cave, as I affectionately call it, my bat cave, for 2 years now. Let's just say it got mighty comfy in there. But like all good cave experiences, there's a time to go in and a time to come out. And I know it's time for me to come out, even though it's hard to be standing here making myself vulnerable to you all. But I've realised something in this process, and that is, it's easier than I thought to come out and share with you, because I have something in common with you. In fact, we all have something in common with each other, and it's not the obvious, which is Jesus, obviously. We all have a story. We all have a story. We've all crawled through our customised valleys, our own customised valleys. We've all climbed our ridiculously high mountains. We've all experienced heartache and heartbreak to some degree or another, yeah? And while love is the greatest unifier that there ever was, pain also has some pretty powerful unification properties. Pain can actually bring us together, funnily enough. Now, pain comes in all shapes and sizes, as you well know. It can look like anxiety, depression, suicide. It can look like abuse, all sorts of abuse. Physical abuse, emotional abuse, mental abuse, sexual abuse. It can look like rejection, sickness, self-harm, abandonment, and you know what? The list just goes on and on and on. The truth is, I've been through every single one of those things that I've just mentioned, and it's kind of like a highlight reel. I laugh now, but it's not really that funny. When I was younger, I experienced quite severe depression for many, many years, and I was suicidal a lot of the time. And just when I thought things couldn't get any more horrible, my own mother, who was my only parent, decided to take her own life. And I was a teenager, so you can imagine how that went down. I was sexually abused by my adoptive father for 7 years. And he was a doctor, so he used his position to do all sorts of horrible things. I've been rejected and abandoned more times than I can count, beginning from when I was in the womb, when my biological father disappeared 2 months before I was born. And I'm not actually that sad about that fact, because as it turns out, he was a devil worshipper and gave my mother a fake name and was actually a wanted criminal, so the story goes. So I feel like I dodged a bullet with that one. Thank you, Jesus. This pattern continued as I grew up, where I was kind of dragged from household to household, family to family, by a mother who was on a quest to find love in all the wrong places, as it turns out. Until finally I took control when I was 16 and moved out of home in a big quest to not jump around everywhere, but that didn't really work out either. I've had a really bad health and safety run in my life. And the latest mountain that I've had to climb has been my battle with breast cancer, and I'm still walking that thing out at the moment. Been through all the treatments, radiation, chemo, surgery, the works basically. I got my miracle. I am cancer free right now, so but I've got, you know, if you know anything about breast cancer, it's never over when they say it's over. You've got another 10 years worth of stuff to go through. So I've got some surgeries and scans and stuff coming up. But other than that, I'm good. So these are just a few of the harder things that I've experienced in my 39 years on this earth. And yet, when I brought my big why me questions to God, you know those ones, it's why me? Snot and tears everywhere. I've been humbly reminded of all the things that I haven't had to go through. And there's nothing like that good solid reality check to shove you back on the right path. It's no great secret that there's no shortage of pain and suffering in this world. In fact, the Bible tells us that there will be pain and suffering in this world. And yet here we are, gathered together in hope and in love and in unity, together at one heart. Take heart, he said, for I have overcome the world. And only he has the power to overcome through you, through us. I've kind of learned that we're the vital ingredient in all of this. I've also learned through my own journey of pain that there's always hope. I can never say that I've suffered without hope. When my body was literally being murdered from the inside out when I was going through chemotherapy last year, it was all I could do to crawl into his presence with every ounce of hope and strength that I possessed. But in his presence, I discovered hope for my future. Whether it was here on earth or in eternity, I wasn't entirely sure at the time. Things weren't looking too great. But I knew that at the end of the day, hope was promised to me. Now, I'm not saying that it's easy to own that conclusion in life, to get to that place and that posture where you accept hope for what it truly is. It certainly wasn't a walk in the park for me. I would sit there, especially during chemo, and cry on my daddy God's shoulder, telling him about all the things I still wanted and needed to do in life, telling him about my kids who really needed me, and I didn't want to abandon them. My son was 4 going on 5 and he has autism, and he really needs his mummy. And my daughter was 15 going on 16, and she is a teenager. Who's got teenagers? Yeah, she really needed her mum. I would sit there and tell him that I didn't think that I had accomplished everything that I was sent here to do, that my purpose on earth had not yet been fulfilled, and it honestly broke my heart to know that I could not redeem the time, or that I may not be able to redeem that time. That was the thing that actually consumed me the most. All these thoughts, plus so many more as you can imagine, the rest of my heart and mind, but they taught me some pretty intense lessons in life. One of the things I learned is that walking out your purpose in life is one of the most important things that you can ever do. We are here for a reason. We were sent here to fulfill our God-given purpose, and it is a great tragedy if we have to leave this place without walking in that mandate. It might be painful, yes, we've already established that, but sometimes it takes pain to prod us in the right direction. I've learned that it's sometimes through your pain that you often find your purpose. Anyone else experience that? Yeah. And if you're the 1 in a million that didn't need pain to find it, high five to you. Maybe, just maybe, you might need a little encouragement, or maybe a little prick of pain, to encourage you to outwork that thing. Because it's 2 different things, isn't it? To know your purpose and to actually walk it out. Yeah? Now, I'm not up here wishing a whole heap of pain upon you all. Don't get me wrong. I'm just challenging your perspective, just like mine was challenged. Because you know what? Pain doesn't actually have to be your enemy. It can help convict you. It can help inspire you. It can give you a good boot up the bum to take action. Of course, and especially, it can draw you nearer to God. Yeah? And it can help you become the doer with your purpose. In saying that, we don't allow pain to define us and cause us to shrink back in life. On the contrary, when pain starts to steal the spotlight, try flipping the switch and allowing the joy of the Lord to be your strength. Let pain be little more than a tool in your right hand. It was through my latest and greatest pain, one of my greatest pains, that a big chunk of my purpose was confirmed to me, and that was to encourage, to inspire, to teach and to equip people, mainly women, through my writing. It started off with my website and my blog, and out of that red hot furnace came my first book, the first of many, I believe. And I hold on to this book of mine, it's actually called Purpose Driven, as a representation and portion of my promise. And now I'm at peace. It's such a beautiful, beautiful peace. And not just because God gave me time to write a book, but because I know that God is not finished with me yet. It took me a while to believe that, but I believe it now. I've got more encouragement in me, more inspiration in me, more books in me. God willing, of course. And if He's not willing, then that's okay as well. Because I am no longer afraid of death, as long as I know that I'm walking out my purpose on earth. It doesn't matter what I've been through, it doesn't matter what I'm about to go through, as long as I'm walking it out. That's the priority for me. And that is the absolute power of this truth. And in that power is even more peace. Go figure. It reminds me of that scripture in Isaiah, "O death, where is your sting?" Love it. So what is my testimony? Well, it's not all the horrible things that have happened to me, because that's just a story. A pretty important story, as it frames the miraculous. But my story is not my testimony. My testimony is life, and life more abundantly. It's being about my Father's business and enjoying His presence in my life. It's about being purpose-driven and purpose-fulfilled. It's about living in a perpetual state of peace. It's about being a daddy's girl, unashamedly. As we've already heard, and is kind of the catch cry at One Heart. In His presence, you find your purpose, and in your purpose, you find His peace. It really is a great recipe, right? And I have the honour of being able to testify to its greatness firsthand. I want to be really clear before God and everyone. I do not regret anything that I've been through, because I get to testify about my wonderful counsellor, my mighty God, my eternal Father, my Prince of Peace. What a privilege. Well, that's it. Well, that's about it from me. Thank you for watching. How did we come out of back, hey? I just pray that this weekend God will swing wide the gates of His desire for you, and you will happily walk on through it. I pray that you will find and consecrate yourself to His purpose in you, and by doing so, lay a hold of that beautiful peace that He so wants you to have. It's all there for you, and I hear Him say, "Come to me, come with me, let's do this." Amen? Amen. Awesome. And now for my most favourite part of the conference. I get to introduce a good friend of mine. Some of you will remember her from last year. She just blew everybody away, and she's just such a powerhouse. And I can't wait to hear from her. Please welcome Miss Aisha Takani. I'm not crying, by the way.